Brandy Pet.
Welcome, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's me, Brandy P. from the SM the Veteran podcast. So we are technically recording this early, so I will say Happy Veterans Day to everyone because that is what today is here. And also a belated Happy Marine Corps birthday to our brothers in the Marines. And hopefully everyone had a great Veterans Day. I know I definitely very much appreciated all the support today. So those of you out there that did recognize this day, we absolutely appreciate it, and we very much appreciate that support. And so what I'm going to do is, this is actually a podcast that I've wanted to do for some time. I'm very much looking forward to the guests that we are going to have on tonight. And I will go ahead and introduce the first person tonight. So we actually did something fairly recently where we had a veteran go and get an amazing tattoo from a phenomenal tattooer, and it was donated to her in recognition for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I'm going to bring to the stage Miss Bernie. Hey sis, how are you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm here. Was it living the dream? Is that the term? So, I'm doing great. How are you doing today, sis?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you? Everything was good with your Veterans Day?
Yeah, it was definitely an adventure today. It was a very busy day, but I was very thankful that we were able to go to some retirement homes and spend some time with our brothers and sisters that are retired with a fun lunch for Veterans Day. And we got to do some cool Veterans Day. I got to do a cool Veterans Day parade on Saturday. And that was definitely an experience. And then going to see three-time Grammy Award winner Sonny Saseda play again. Singing well. Why can't I talk today? But it was truly an amazing experience, and we absolutely appreciated it. And tell me a little bit about your Veterans Day.
Well, I was also in the parade in Sacramento, California, at the state capitol building right around there. And it actually rained on our parade.
No, you could literally say it rained on your parade. Is that good luck? I have questions.
Yeah, I walked with a group of women veterans. Michelle Washington from Women's Veterans Alliance. She put together a little group, and we just walked through the parade and actually had a lot of support. A lot of people recognizing the women veterans, and it was great. It was a great time today.
I'm glad. I'm absolutely glad. And as you should be on a float, you have such an amazing story. And that's why I'm very thankful to have you on tonight. Can you introduce yourself to our veterans that may not know you?
Sure. My name is Bernadette Azevedo, but I go by Bernie for short. And I served 7 years in the Navy from 1993 to 2000, and as a dental tech. So I kind of have been through that my entire life. So for the last 30 years, I've been in dentistry, minus the 5 years I took off for breast cancer treatment. So.
And you had a pretty hard ordeal, and that was quite an experience for you from what you were telling me. Did you want to talk about that a little bit? And I could show pictures if that's all right.
I'd love to, because I'd really love to put something out more about breast cancer unawareness. So there's a lot of things that can happen throughout your treatment, and it seemed like I just kind of I hit a roadblock at every turn, and even my doctors were pretty surprised about how things went down. And I suffered a really bad infection right after my first surgery, which was a double mastectomy. But I found the tumor on my own, I should say. Back up a little bit. There had been some things going different with my body, and it just really felt off. And then about 18 months of treatment for trying to handle some different pains in my body. We couldn't figure out where it was coming from. But after my first surgery, I noticed that pain was gone. So I think, looking back on it now, I think that my body was just really talking to me and letting me know that something was up.
And I think a lot of us are very guilty of that, especially with our own health and our wellness. I think we think a lot of times like those check engine lights that we're getting from our body, or, I'll take care of it later. But sometimes that later is too late, and it's very important to be your own best advocate. Absolutely. And so I would definitely want to get more into your journey in a moment, if that's all right. I did also want to introduce our second guest as well. So Chris Blinston is an amazing tattooer. Absolutely, you could not find a better tattooer. Like personally, my thoughts, like I think he is a phenomenal artist, and it was a pleasure to meet him a few years ago. And he had an amazing story, and he really wanted to take care of some veterans. And it's been awesome watching how he's able to empower so many people. And so I definitely want to bring him to the stage now. Chris Blinston. How are you doing today, brother?
Hi.
Well,
happy to be here. How are you?
We're doing good, brother. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. Did you have a good Marine Corps birthday?
Yeah, absolutely. I've had a great day. I had the pleasure of being with my kids for most of the day, so we got to do some fun things. So we had some church time, and then we jumped into a rodeo, and then one of my good friends here has a bar, restaurant, and he puts on the Marine Corps birthday for all the older guys. So I got to get up on the stage and, be like a master of ceremonies last night, and speak for him and throw out some gift certificates, and it was fun. It was a good time. It's always good hanging out a whole room full of Marines.
You say so.
Definitely a good way to get trouble. But always good time. Always good time.
I love that, brother camaraderie.
I agree. And so, Chris, did you want to maybe introduce yourself a little bit to our veterans that maybe don't know of you?
Sure. Yeah, so my name is Chris Blinston. I've served in the Marine Corps from 1992 to 1996, second MAR Div and second MA. I was a Stinger gunner at the end there. I did a couple of floats. I got a year sea time, so I did both a Westpac and a Med Cruise. Spent a little time in Bosnia back when that was kind of yucky, but overall I had a pretty peaceful 4 years. I'm also a military brat. So my entire life was military. It wasn't until 1996 that I became a civilian finally, and then I jumped right into tattooing. So I've been doing this 27 years now.
Wow. And so what came first? So you said that it was the Marines came first and then it was the tattooing, or was it kind of like they kind of happened like at the same-ish time, or how did that work?
Yeah, so that's one of those funny stories. We started in the Marine Corps barracks, goofing off with all the guys, and but like our first tattoos we literally had a barracks party, and our little mail order kit came in the mail, and we had a bunch of the local girls around, and they wanted to get tattooed. So we opened up the box and mail call and started tattooing people right in the barracks. Obviously we're hiding from the duty sergeant and all that good stuff, but it was just a fun thing. I think we were getting paid like I think our average pay was either like lunch or like a 6-pack of beer. So.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
When it gets really rough, it's those Pop-Tarts or Skittles from the MREs, right?
Whatever you could give up, you got it.
And so, so Chris, you competed on Inkmaster season 6. So what was it like to compete on such a large scale?
Okay. Yeah. So I was on a couple of shows. So my career's been pretty good. I've been lucky enough that I had a good run, in my career, getting kind of famous back when there was magazines was the format, and way before, cell phones, and way before social media was kind of ruling the roost. So I got on, the first show I was on was Tattoo Wars, which was kind of a one-on-one show. You get one time, but eventually I ended up on Inkmaster season 6. And that show was pretty fun. It's pretty neat to compete like that. I do want to say that show's changed a lot now. The competition, like hard charging part of it's gone. So I think in the last few seasons I was like 6, 7, 8, maybe that's about the end of that. Everybody's kind of nice to each other now. So, you're kind of missing that fight part, but I think the show still shows some pretty good work.
That was why I loved watching your season, especially because you absolutely went full military, and I was here for it. And the overall, it was you came at it like a Marine, and I was here for it.
Yeah. Oh God, I had this plan. This crazy plan was I was going to go in there and just wreck everybody that was good. I'd go after everybody that was the best guys, and I just figured I could get a couple of them before somebody would get me, and just make it easier for my partner to kind of keep on going. And it just worked out. I smashed all the top guys and just kept going all the way to the end. So it was good. It was a good strategy, and it was definitely Marine Corps related. It was definitely competitive. So.
I really expected to see the knife hand come out, where you're just kind of like, you know, get at least one good time. So, what was something that surprised you after your run on Inkmaster? Like, was it just like, you know, like people like reacting to you or recognizing you, or is there anything that was different from what you've already done? Because you have a very accomplished career and you've won awards all over the world. Like going in your shop is wild, just because there's just trophies everywhere.
Yeah. So, man, it's quite a difference between the first round of kind of getting famous. That was all fueled by other tattoo artists. So I was famous in the business from other artists, and then the people that were collectors of your tattoos. Magazines was like the format and all that. This was completely different because the type of fans, I guess, you attracted from this was completely TV show related. I don't know how many thousands of tattoos I've done since the show aired 9 years ago that are one-timers. They just want one tattoo from this Inkmaster guy, and then that's it. They're happy. They got their one tattoo, as opposed to back in the day when, you know, people would get sleeves and from the same artist over and over and over. It's a completely different animal of the type of clients you up with.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, just seeing really, like, I guess what, like, I've heard the term like race cars. People look like race cars, like tattoos, because you get like a bunch of like small Friday the 13th tattoos from a bunch of different artists and like not a huge central theme. But I know there's like was it ignorant art, or was it like there's like a new tattooing coming out right now or something like that, where like a lot of the tattooers are not super happy with it.
What is it that's coming out?
I thought it was called, like, is it like ignorant art, or like it was something like that? I maybe have the term wrong.
Put that in, but I wouldn't be surprised, because I'll tell you what's happening right now in the last couple of months. All that old horrible tribal we used to do, like the armbands, that is starting to come back, and we are fighting that so bad. All the young kids want that old tribal art, and we don't want to do it. Like all of us old timers don't want to do it anymore. It's horrible.
I can imagine like one or several thousand expos like doing that. You probably kind of get have dreams about tribal tattoos. You probably do them in your sleep, I'm sure.
My kids got
it definitely gets, you know, you want to move forward. You want to always progress in your business and in your industry and your art, and try to do newer, better things. You know, I've come to a position in my career where I've progressed about 90% as far as I'm going to go in the art. I can still get a little bit farther. For me, it's just about who I'm tattooing now, you know, which brings me to like, you know, like Bernie here, you know, this is so much better, more magical for the people that I'm working on, and the time we spend together, and our stories when they all come together and mesh. That's what matters to me now. It's so much more about the people that you're meeting and the people that you're interacting with, and what you get from each other from that.
And so tell us about like the first time that you really started to get into that, because I know that you had started to donate some tattoos before with the nonprofit that I had met you through as well. But was that like right when you first did it, or was it something you had done in the shops for years and then you kind of just decided that, hey, you know, I want to continue this. This is a good thing.
Sure. So you were kind of asking me like how I started into kind of working with, especially the veterans, or just, you know, gifting people tattoos that kind of help them. I don't think it started that long ago. You know, the Inkmaster show, as amazing as it is, it really does kind of put you in a kind of a not great mindset, because you're very much still in competitive mode. You're very much in how do we call it? Self-promotion mode. Also, you're kind of almost spoiled, and you kind of get arrogant with this, you know, and it takes a while to get out of that. A lot of these artists that have been there a long time, they're still in it. It took me a while to get out of that. And then you, like I said, you start to realize what's more important about what you're doing. I don't even know how to say how many years it spent me to get to the point to realize what's important about what we're doing here. I started giving tattoos to people that probably started with people that just couldn't afford as much as they wanted, and I would just say, okay, let's figure out how to give you something that makes you happy, and even if you don't have the money. And I think that just literally just propelled itself into that. Running into you and meeting you, I think it was in Philadelphia, probably 4 years ago, I think at least, is where we first started this whole adventure with these other military guys, you know, and that was kind of like a great outlet to start doing this and giving tattoos like this. One of the best parts of this was, again, meeting the people and their stories, but it did take a little while to kind of understand that what we're doing for them is so, so important. And I think Maggie, the one that we did, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I think she was one of the most important, magical ones for me, because her story was just so crazy, and the fact that you're standing there tattooing somebody that literally is missing part of their body, and then on her arm. And my favorite part of the story is that 2 of the dog tags don't have names on them because they're upper level government, employee guys, CIA, I think they were. They don't get to have their name on there, but they're gone, and that's something that happened in that bit of war that she was in. But to understand how that tattoo helps her kind of deal with that day, makes it so much better as far as the whole story of it. It's not the tattoo; it's what it's doing for Maggie.
Absolutely. With Maggie, I actually remember it was actually a specific event that drove me kind of to start to do this because she had been waiting on a nonprofit's wait list for over 3 years for that memorial tattoo, and she wanted to remember the 5 fallen brothers that she lost that day. And 2 of them were contractors, absolutely, and she couldn't afford it. And it was something that, she looked at me when we were hunting, because we were in the same forge, and she has a very wild story about deboning her own leg, like that she was amputated in the turkey fryer and making a knife out of it. True story. Fully legal. We made sure. But at the end of the day, it was something that she wanted to be empowered, but we met through this crazy story I'd heard, and I was like, I have to meet this person. And because in our forge, there's like no chicks. And so like there was a special hunt. It was a spear hog hunt, but they only wanted women. So I jumped ahead of like 200 dudes, like because like there was, like they were a girl. And so my friend Georgia was supposed to go, but she moved. And so Maggie had replaced her. And so I was like, you're her. And I don't really get super excited to meet someone, but in her case, I was very, very much looking forward to meeting her. And during the day, like, she talked about it, and and I told her, I was like, we're gonna get you tattooed. And she kind of like rolled her eyes, like, yeah, right, you're not gonna do it. She's heard people offer her stuff all the time, and they don't do it, but they want to sound cool at the time, and I was like, no, like I'm gonna be about it kind of person. Like, this is gonna happen. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I don't have the sponsors to do this, but I'm gonna make it happen. And man, we did. And she looked at me, and what really galvanized me into doing this is she looked at me, because she and I have a lot of the same surgeries. I just had the luck of having a bit more of an astute surgeon that treated the Queen of England. It was entirely luck. But I felt I could understand a lot of how she felt about things. And like, even like her prosthetic brace fit my leg. Like, we actually had to like fit it, and it actually fit perfect. And like, prosthetics don't fit like that. It was just really weird. And so she looked at me and she said, is this all that we're supposed to do, is just survive, Brandy? Because she's like, you're doing this for all of us. You're doing this for all of us. Like, I'm like, you're the first person that caught me. And she was just, when she asked that question, I said, and I remember answering her directly. And what I said to her was, fuck no, you have earned that right to live your life to the absolute fullest, and I will fucking show you. And 6 months later, she was in Chris's chair. And, she still talks about it to this day. She always asks about him, and she wants to bring her girl to see Chris as well, because she wants to come to the shop and get a tattoo. And no, he does not give away all his tattoos, because it is very much a business. But at the end of the day, I just thought that was amazing, how you were talking to her in the tattoo chair. And I always ask whatever, like, I go, because if they want me to go and to meet me, that's great. In Maggie's case, like, I had to escort her physically because her medical assistant couldn't, and we actually had an in-flight emergency with the prosthetic leg. So it was a whole situation. That's why she wasn't wearing it in the photo, because she basically decided she was going to use the flamethrower on it when we got back. But she even like was like so excited. Like, she tried taking the escalator with her wheelchair in the airport on the way back. I was like, please don't. Like, I need to return you safe. Like, her lady needs a combat pay, man, special pay, something, because man. But it meant so much to her. And like I said, Chris giving her that opportunity, it really did so much for her.
I know what that feels like.
So did you want to talk about your experience a little bit, Bernie?
Just kind of like, I know,
or Bernie?
I feel, there's a lot of things that happen, like 17 surgeries in 3 years was pretty traumatic. And each scar means something to me. And I never thought about covering my scars, but it used to be a sore subject for some people. You know, they see the scar on my back and they don't know really how to ask you, like what happened, but they want to know. And so they usually sound dumb.
Or rude.
Oh, I noticed that you have a scar on your back. You know, sometimes I get a little crazy and be like, yeah, man, I was in a bar fight and I was in the military, I got bit by a shark. I don't know. I used to make up all
Use that
kinds.
excuse too.
And I just, you know, you get tired of it because at first you explain it and then they're like, oh, didn't want to really hear all that, you know? So just you make fun of it, you know, but each one of them means something to me and it's a triumph and it's something that forced me to get out of bed some days. So, didn't realize that I have 3D areola tattoos from a gal that I found on Instagram. She does medical tattoos, and I was not prepared for how that made me feel complete as a woman. And then now to kind of start rehabilitating around other parts of the body that, like my back, you know. I think it's very personal. And Chris, I think you did an amazing job. And I think that you're so super humble. And I feel like I've known you for lifetimes, you know, both of you. I feel like for whatever reason we came together, it's because we're supposed to be together, you know. And I love that. It makes you feel, it just makes you feel more human. So thank you.
And Chris, what did you think about it, your experiences?
Bernie's amazing. So it's a wonderful opportunity for me to be able to do something for her, you know, and I know there's more things that you'd like to do, and I would be happy to do more and more and more for you. You know what I mean? I know that I have a planned trip. I'm trying to go see a sister in Texas, so maybe we can figure out another trip and do more. You know, it makes me happy to do it for you, and it makes me happy that you're happy. So that really what matters to me. So one of the weird things that kind of happened this year with me is I was kind of going through some life changes this year too, as I had made a number in my head. Two things I had done this year. One, I had given a lot of money to little people here and there that just were hurting bad with like not being able to eat and their rent, and just people not being able to afford their life. So I've been able to help some people, blessed enough to do that. But I also made this crazy idea. I was going to give away 20 tattoos this year. I don't know why, but I was just going to do that. And it was all for people that were just like, I don't know, like, people that just felt like they, same thing like as what we're doing with the veterans, but they needed it or it mattered to them or something like that. And I've gotten about 6 or 7 of those done, but I've run into the weirdest anomaly is that I have people actually questioning me, like why I'm doing that. The people that are asking about getting the tattoos are questioning it, as opposed to like when I'm working with the veterans like Bernie and Maggie and all them, like they understand why we're doing it. Like it's our bond, it's our time together. We're all veterans. Like I understand your story. I want to hear it all. I'm like listening to it while we're tattooing, and they don't understand it at all. It's not the same is what I'm getting at. It's not the same at all. So I do love doing the work like we're doing, and Brandy, you've been amazing to help me, do what I can do, and I'd like to keep doing more of that,
I love that.
Thanks, brother. Absolutely. And actually, it's funny that you say that, because both of those ladies absolutely totally asked me, why did you choose me? Like, why was I chosen? Like, honestly, having someone from Inkmaster give a tattoo that amazing, like, exactly. Like, we're used to getting the stuff off the base. The dude's probably gonna like try to like lick it afterwards or something equally sus, because that happened to me once and I about died. But like, he almost got kicked in the face with my good leg. But I still had it. But like, for you to do that, like, I mean, it absolutely changes lives and absolutely empowers people. And people go through hard times. And I think all of us, we go through those periods in life where we're just like, I'm just getting kicked in the dick everywhere. Like I absolutely, like, I can't catch a break. And, for you to do that, it absolutely speaks volumes.
And what's crazy is like with my time with was Bernie was amazing, you know, and then with Maggie, same thing. And then can I talk about the gift she gave me? Yeah. Okay. So one of the most amazing parts of the time with Maggie, especially working with you in the metalworks and the forging and all that, is that making the knives. And so she showed me the videos, and I don't know if people know these things, but like she brought her leg back to the States, and then, you know, was able to process it so she could use the bone parts of it, and she gifts people parts of her leg in different things like earrings. And for me, she made me a knife, and it looks like pearl inlays is actually part of her leg bone, and they're polished in there, and they're amazing. And I actually have that knife locked away in a safe because I won't let anybody anywhere near it. It's like one of my most prized possessions now, you know. So you have to literally like be my best friend, and then maybe I'll let you see it, and that's it. So
Nice.
yeah, so you know, what an amazing return gift that makes my life a step better, you know.
So for me, like I actually wanted to make something so awesome with Maggie. I wanted to throw something together in the forge so awesome that even someone with many years of experience, and tattooers can get tipped in anything. Like, I mean, they've seen it all, and especially in South Florida, he's seen it. Like, I mean, people bring all kinds of stuff, you know, from the alcohol to, you know, like people do the barter thing that happens, but, you know, or especially if they really like the tattoo, they'll come back and bring something to you, and you're like, what is this? You know, but at the end of the day, like, it was awesome to be able to do that, but she totally did want to put the sheath as a Coors Light box. Totally true story. I had to almost fight Maggie about that one.
Amazing. That's an amazing part of the whole story for sure. Absolutely unexpected.
That's awesome.
But that's the thing. Like, I wanted to make something so cool that, man, yeah. I did always want to know if Paul Booth ever got to see it.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, good question. I don't know. You know, one of the fun gifts that I got, you were just mentioning other gifts that come. Last night when I was emceeing the Marine Corps birthday at this particular place, right when I got on stage, some bonehead right in the front coined me, right, you know, with you know, right off the bat, you know, and I happened to have a coin in my pocket. And one of the guys that's probably about my age, a couple of years ago, took that tour and went to Iwo Jima, and then, you know, physically grabbed some of the sand and brought it home, and then he had put it into like this coin that you can make now that has Iwo Jima sand in there, which is really important for all Marines. And I happen to have that in my pocket, and so I recoined him. So obviously he had to do the push-ups, but that coin is really special to me because, you know, not only does it represent, you know, where we fought, but like when I was talking last night at the Marine Corps birthday, it talks about how, you know, we need to be, you know, understanding and realize that we're blessed that we get to celebrate the 249th birthday of the Marine Corps, you know, last night, that we are the lucky ones to be there for that, because a lot of these guys didn't get to do that after that day. You know, and then I made a point about my kids were there and they were wearing Marine Corps shirts, you know, and I was like, and then the next step is like our next generation of who are the Marines are going to be, or military people, etc. And, you know, and Maggie's a great story like that, where, you know, she's got a tattoo on her arm of 5 people that don't get to celebrate these days with us anymore. And Bernie's a great example of somebody that literally had to fight many times I mean, how many, we had 13 surgeries, I think it was, just on bone cancer, I think it was. And, you know, the fact that you fought and you get to be here every year is amazing, you know, and that's the part that I try to remember. And when we do each one of these, that's what matters. And that's what matters to me. So if I can make my part of your life a little bit better, it's just my thank you for still being here.
I love that. Thanks, brother. That means a lot.
Yeah, good.
And I know that I know I had made an error early on, but I know that you had said that you had breast cancer and then you had a bone infection that you had severe issues with, and a lot of reconstruction as well. And I mean, it's hard. And so how many surgeries was it in total?
It was 17 surgeries in 3 years. So it was I had 3 free meals a day from the 3rd floor. But they took really good care of me. Travis Air Force Base, David Grant Medical Center there. I had an entire breast cancer team that was behind me all the way. And even though I was a regular at the hospital, I had hospital privileges, so I could roam the hospital and go to almost anywhere I wanted. I'd get dressed just to go to the chow hall at lunchtime. So people thought I worked at the hospital, but no, it was, I met a lot of really amazing people there. And like you, Chris, like I just really felt like I needed to connect with each person. And I was an inspiration to them because they hadn't seen something like that before, where, someone goes through infections and 29 rounds of, radiation and being fried open, third degree blisters. Like you can't put your arm down for 4 months, and, you can't lay on your side. It just weird shit that you have to figure out how to take a shower without getting your arm wet, like, but how do you do that? So you figure it out, it just forces you to slow down a little bit, but connecting with the people who took care of me was really important. It was a really important thing, all the way down to housekeeping. I know about her and her family, and I just wanted to get to know people while I was there.
In David Grant Medical Center, I did my clinicals rotation there. Actually, that is a massive facility too. And
yeah.
I did a tour in their hyperbaric medicine, and it actually has an 18-bed dive facility there as well. And it's actually where they train a lot of the pilots and like the staff to do the physiological testing, because Lackland is the largest facility, or maybe SAMC now. But that is a huge facility. And plus those scrubs are way more comfortable than any hospital gown they had there.
It was my new wardrobe. There were about 67 dives of hyperbaric treatment that I did. So I did it twice a day since I was admitted into the hospital anyways. I was admitted Monday through Friday for a year, kind of on and off. After the 8th month, I was out for a couple weeks and then back in. But it was about a year of my life. And so hyperbarics was part of that. And the team there is amazing. Dr. Slade, the world renowned. I think he's retired now, but just the most gentle people, humans that care about everything that they do. And I spent a lot of time in that tank, that 18-man tank. So I spent a lot of time there.
Man, I tried to like bribe people to be able to do longer rotations there, man, because that's actually a shred out of my job as hyperbarics technician, and a slot opened just before my retirement, and a neurology slot. Wow. I was like crushed because like even my commander's like, "Oh, I'll put you in, but you're getting retired, right?" Like I was like, "Oh, don't remind me, damn legs."
Well, I mean, really good therapy. Actually, it's more for it's there for several options, and I've heard some recent about bringing hyperbarics to awareness of the benefits of it. I mean, I saw a lot of diabetic veterans that I was in there with who were about to lose a toe or a foot, below the knee, and they ended up not because of the hyperbaric treatment. And so, again, meeting all kinds of amazing humans along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have some of the most advanced alternative medical treatments for their community there, specifically in that hyperbaric facility. And it was amazing to learn from like all these people. And you're right, they are extremely caring, and it's so needed. And, those are in stressful environments. And while hyperbarics can cure a lot of things, it's still scary to go inside of, like the one-man bed or the 18. The 18 is a little, you got more walking around space, and there's a commode. So at least there's that. But like, like in this particular picture, so like this is like the one manner. At least you got the TV though. They got you set up. Like they had complaints.
That was my Cinderella chamber, my Snow White chamber.
Man, I used to steal those shit out of those scrubs that happened. Like I used to love those scrubs.
Yeah, that was, I was behaving. I got to go in the single chamber because it doesn't take as long. Normally it takes about 3 hours from start to finish in the 18-man tank. And at least in the single chamber, it's only about an hour and a half or so.
Wow. So yeah, we were only able to do mostly after treatment debridements, and we would do some work in the 18-man, but not like the single bed units. That's what they would have everyone for, but they wouldn't let us train on them. It's like doctor level and above. But That's amazing that you're able to overcome so much. And you said you also did nuclear medicine too. So does that mean like your toilet seat, or did the toilet seat glow? I heard that your butt is radioactive after this. Is this true?
I mean, it's pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. So like it was the day before my first surgery, which was going to be my double mastectomy, but they inject this nuclear medicine into the lymph nodes so that they can light them up to make sure that no cancer passes through. And but they, I got some nuclear medicine and it was kind of warm. It was warm around that area for that night. But they also told me like don't hold your granddaughter. You can't hold your granddaughter for a few months. And I was like, that's weird. Like it didn't feel right, but it was too late. Already happened. So, but so what they do is they inject some dye into the lymphatic system after they remove all the breast tissue. So it just lights up cancer cells in the lymph nodes, which it did mine. But there was a whole nother conversation about not having to have chemotherapy. I thought I did, and then I didn't. So it's like a psychological mind fuck is really, when I first got diagnosed, they handed me a wig and a makeup bag. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I want like mental health services right now. I need someone to tell me who's going to help take care of my kids. They were teenagers at the time. I needed more than a makeup bag. So it was advocating for myself from start to finish. And I didn't even know I was doing it, but I was doing it. So.
Well, we're very glad that you did do it so you could be here today and we were able to meet you because you're an amazing woman. I didn't get nearly long enough to hang out with you, but it was awesome to meet you and I can't wait to involve you in some future shenanigans, of course.
Yes, I'm ready.
So I have to ask, what did this tattoo being donated mean to you as a woman veteran? Because I know a lot of times we can get some of the scraps. It can be a bit of a challenge, but I'll let you answer, of course.
Yeah. I think as a woman veteran, my biggest honor was being tattooed by a brother in uniform, who has this amazing gift, and one veteran to the next, it's gonna veterans ask questions. Veterans ask other veterans like, hey, what's that scar from? Hey, what happened to your leg? We ask. We're not ashamed of asking. And I dig that. And I know that every veteran that asks me about it is going to get a really cool story. That because of this trio here, like it's allowed me because of what you two, give back. You're an inspiration, and you inspire me to want to get more involved with my brothers and sisters because I do have something to give. So.
Absolutely. And Chris, in your opinion, do you feel scar cover-up tattoos or tattoos in general can be empowering to veterans?
Absolutely. I think, empowering them, those, we all start off, when we're little kids and babies and we're perfect, our skin's perfect and everything is nice and where it's supposed to be and whatever, even I'm nowhere near injured and nor do I have disabilities. I came out other than being fully deaf in one ear and half deaf in the other is my only disability, but I've got scars all over my body and I've got bent up fingers and a crooked nose from a Humvee, and all these, great little bends and twists and scars, and then you have, Bernie here that has a lot of scars. And I think just trying to make yourself feel better about what they are. And if I have the opportunity to make it a little more beautiful than what it is for you, I mean, I think that's the win right there. I think we accomplished that really great with her, and it was a great experience. I think the first 2 hours of us hanging out talking was the best part of the whole night.
Right. And Parker.
Did you do your push-ups, by the way?
I have not, girl. I cannot do push-ups right now. On it though. Great.
And so let's show the tattoo that Chris did. And I absolutely will take no credit for Chris's skilled hands. However, I'm just thankful that I can bring veterans to him, and he does some phenomenal, amazing work, and he's helping so many people in the process. So that is the tattoo. It's a little it's not a big enough image, but it will be posted soon. So definitely check it out. So Chris Blinston, you can follow him on Instagram. So Chris Blinston Tattoo. And you can also check out his shop, which is No Hard Feelings Tattoo, which has a pretty cool story behind it. But definitely, absolutely check them out. I mean, it's an amazing shop. Every artist is like, it's like going into a museum. Like, you know, like all these classic cars are beautiful, like, you know, works. You know, every artist, totally different styles, and you know, it's such a great camaraderie, and you know, it's just like a peaceful atmosphere. It's not like some chaotic shops where you see like crazy stuff where you think it's like an episode of Jerry Springer that you just walked into. It's not like that at all. And I mean, Chris's kids even stopped in for a visit, and you know, his daughter was enforcing a swear policy. She was swear taxing us. There was 10 push-ups to swear. I'm surprised that me, like the army, like the dependent daughter that went Air Force, like I'm surprised I didn't do it. Like I'm impressed.
Yeah, I didn't get this big from the gym. This is all from swearing.
Nice.
Now we know. That now it makes all sense. It makes more sense.
No, the shop has really good energy. It feels like home, you know. But you both feel like home to me.
I agree. I feel the same way.
Yeah, honestly, it's about supporting each other, and every story is totally different. The veterans that we've met so far, and I can only imagine the veterans we will meet on the way. I know that it is a goal of mine to eventually have an event where it was cool enough that we could have a worst tattoo competition and we could have the winner tattooed. Hopefully, we could do that one day.
I like that. I like that idea. I think we should. You know, what I would like to be able to do is there's that one convention. I want to say it's in North Carolina. Is that the one, the military one that they still do? It's pretty big, All American or something like that.
Yeah.
I think we should maybe try to do something where we do a booth, and let's just do a whole weekend, and we'll line up like 5 or 4 people, you know, that have a story similar to Bernie or Maggie or somebody, and just do a weekend like that. You know, scratch the whole working for money thing. Let's do that for the awareness, you know, and just maybe we can kind of get other artists to kind of get excited at that again. The new generation has no idea because most of us are kind of getting older and moving on, but maybe we can get a couple of the new generation guys to kind of want to do things like this for other people.
I like that.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, sometimes like seeing the change that you want to affect in action, it can really inspire people. And you know, when you're seeing that actually being done and you're like, it is happening, I am seeing it, it's not something I'm just hearing about, you know, it's actually happening, and we can see these people and how much it's absolutely helping them. And I mean, I think it'd be great. So definitely let me know. We'll set stuff up. But we'll go ahead and close the podcast down for tonight. And so we'll go ahead and before we get to final thoughts. So Bernie, I did want to ask you a final question before I ask Chris his. So what advice would you give women regarding breast cancer screenings or misnomers?
Well, I would say touch your body. You know what it feels like. You know, I think doing it at home is critical. And I know that was part of boot camp, was learning how to do a self breast exam. That's where I learned how to do it when I was, 18 years old. So kudos to that. And I think, I don't think that anybody taught my daughter how to do it. Like I had to teach her how to do it or tell her, the videos and whatnot. But knowing your own body, paying attention to it. We're always supposed to connect more to our intuition, and we don't do that enough. But when we do, it's really magical. You really figure out that, because, they think that my cancer may have been there in the previous mammogram that I had 2 years prior. But they didn't see it. They thought it was a different body part, but it was actually the tumor attached to my nipple internally. And so when they rotated the image, it showed the tumor then, but I found the lump first. And it hurt. So they always say cancer doesn't hurt, but it was sore and tender when I found it. So just know your body, and I'd be like, well, it hurts. It can be cancer and it can hurt. And so kind of maybe getting rid of some of those tabooed conversations, like just getting stuff out there matters.
Thanks, sis.
Problem. Thank you.
And Chris, how would our veterans find you to book a regular tattoo appointment?
I don't get a question about boobs.
I mean, I can ask you a question about boobs. What was your favorite booby tattoo?
That's funny. What's funny is that she was talking about the wonderful artist she found that does the like medical cosmetic, like the nipple and stuff like that. So I've done a lot of those, and just like she was saying, like that's a really big important one for people that have had that surgery. So I've had the pleasure to do a couple hundred of those. So I completely understand. I can relate with that story being on the other side of the needle, I guess you could say. So what was the question that you wanted me to answer?
So, well, first, I now have two questions. Now I want to know if you did at least one set of last action hero nips. Like, I need to know if there's like a smiley face and like a nipple like combo somewhere, at least. Like, custom plated boobs.
I will tell you this. There are probably a lot of adult entertainers that have different shaped areolas and all those funny things now from back in the day. So, yeah, I definitely have some of those out there.
Is that like that old game with like those puzzle pieces that you had to put them together in a certain amount of time and it pops open? That's the shapes I'm thinking of in my head right now. So the other question was, how can our veterans find you to book a regular tattoo appointment?
All right. So you can look me up on Instagram at Chris Blinston Tattoo, on Instagram. I'm on Facebook at Chris Blinston Tattoo, or you can go to the tattoo shop, No Hard Feelings Tattoo, which is on Instagram, and based out of Florida. I am doing a lot more traveling starting this month, all up and down the coast of Florida, so I can book. I've set up myself to be able to tattoo in multiple shops, so I can book and tattoo in the entire state of Florida right now, anywhere. So if you wanted to book with me, say in Jacksonville, I will come to the shop in Jacksonville. And then we're currently working on a program where we can travel a little more, for instance, like to where you're from, Texas, and a couple other states where I can be more local to them if we can get enough people to make the trip worth it. And that's kind of where we're headed right now. But right now, Florida. So Instagram, Chris Blinston Tattoo.
Thank you. And if you come to Texas, you're going to have to go to Drive Tanks because they totally saw Maggie's tattoo and now they want to meet you, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's never a bad time to go to Drive Tanks. Never. Or these things over. But I'll go ahead and ask final thoughts from each of you, and we'll go ahead and close up tonight. So, Bernie, what are some final thoughts from you?
I think it's great to have this opportunity to, one, be selected as the woman veteran breast cancer survivor for Chris's tattoo. I can't believe how normal it feels. Like, it feels really normal, which is why I think that's why I feel like we've known each other for lifetimes, because it just feels normal. It's not like, it is like when I tell other people, but like either it hasn't settled in with me yet, or like I just don't know. And like I said at the shop, Chris, like, I'm sorry, like I had Inkmasters on in the background, and I really got to revisit. Because it's very cool, and it's right up my alley, something I love. And final thoughts would be that you both inspire me to be a better veteran to my brothers and sisters, and to support you guys on what you're doing. So if I can, pass somebody's name along the way, or just make that connection who I think would be a good fit for you, I would love to do that. because I want to see you guys get further too. So I think it's great. It's wonderful.
Well, anytime, sis. That's what we're here for. Helping veterans one at a time.
Thank you.
If I have to kick a couple in the ass, not you guys.
Yeah.
But no, at the end of the day, it's all about helping each other. And I truly believe in being the change I want to see. And so I'm very glad that we could do this. And, you know, we changed it this year. The last time we had, there was no specifics on gender. It was just a veteran with PTSD that I found. And I was just like, this is not acceptable because of the fact that we're telling people that we're taking care of our people and we're doing these things for them and we're not. And that's not okay with me. And I want to make sure that we're changing this. And, you know, you never realize where things will go. And I'm very thankful that for the opportunity. And I'm very thankful that we decided, hey, we're going to do something specifically for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And, you know, a veteran connected you to me, and we were able to connect you with Chris and get you tattooed with some super sweet sword that you didn't even get to feel getting it tattooed. Like, I guess that's like a small little bonus there.
I don't know. I need to get one that I can feel.
Oh, Chris can do that too.
We'll do lots more.
Sounds good.
All right, Chris. So what are some final thoughts from you?
Man, I think Bernie said it perfectly. You know, I mean, in the end, we're all brothers and sisters, and we're all family. So, I mean, my only comment is just take care of each other. That we're the ones that are going to take care of each other anyway. And if you know, as much time as she spent in the VA hospitals, and I've spent in the VA hospital just helping people, and you've been there, it's all of us working at the VA hospitals. It's not like it's outside people. It's us taking care of each other. So I think that's the bottom line. Just keep taking care of each other.
I like it.
Perfectly said, brother. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, and we will appreciate seeing you guys on next week. We've got some pretty interesting guests coming up in the next month. And then we got Christmas right around the corner. Man, where's this year gone? It's already November. I kept thinking it's like August. I'm like off in months at this point. Too many projects. But it was very, very nice having you on, Chris. Thank you so much for taking this time out of your very busy schedule and seeing us. And thank you so much, Bernie, for coming on tonight.
Sure.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. It was great seeing you again, Bernie. I hope to see you soon.
Yep. It's good to see you too. And you too, Bernie.
Yay. Okay.
Hey.
Well, I'm glad we could do that. And we could talk about your story more at length tonight with everyone from the gang here who's there. But I'll have Aurelia go ahead and take us away. Take us away, Nuggie.
Hi, I'm Aurelia. Just a reminder, smash like, hit subscribe, and click the bell. Please give me my mommy some hearts. Yay, victories!